Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, piloting to the Universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring ocean industrial age concepts that first translated by Japanese scholars. So, 作战. Yesterday we talked about 休战. Both of them share the 战, of course, is about war, but what action you take during a war. 休战 is you take a break, you're resting it temporarily, suppose. I mean, it could go either way. At least I give you a choice, a moment of choice by pausing the war. So that's 休战 versus 作战 means you do the war or you act, you take actions of war. So you act out to war. So 作战 simply 作战 you know it as 作 and 战. They share this, but one is flat, one is curl your tongue. So 作战. Okay, it's simply going to war, starting a war. So that one is pausing. This one is kick it off. Okay, so how Chinese express 作? And I put some kind of comparison character next to it. This one is wang, it means die. Versus this one with one extra horizontal line next to it. It pronounced as 作 or 炸, depends on context. That means you stand up all of a sudden. So why? Die and stand up as a signal to mean you all of a sudden come alive and start to do things with one extra horizontal line. Okay, the theory is, okay, this is a human figure, I mean, which I'm still like preserving. It may not be a human figure. It's a one way of abstracting humans, but we know Chinese human is looking like this. It's leftward facing, which is the front or the forward direction orientation in Chinese. That's a profile view of humans. That's a human figure historically. So this could be something else, right? So we don't know. Scholars still saying this is a human figure. And then, okay, another world building habit of Chinese to create the concepts of us, because we only have a 2D frame. The bottom left corner is low ground, top left corner is high ground, and that paired with leftward facing imagery of human figure, we understand, like as humans, orient ourselves toward the left. Then we are looking at, that's why it's bottom left corner and bottom top left corner of the frame, because that's where we're facing toward, right? All that dot connection making sense. So that's the world creation of Chinese. Like everybody go by this rule. So we don't see top right frame, bottom right corner at all. It's always on the left because we're facing toward the left. Okay, so this bottom left corner means lower ground toward the ground level. And according to scholars, we have this human figure to the ground level. Originally, that means you're trying to hide out. You're trying to hide underground. Okay, I almost want to say something about nuclear war. That's our like a bunker. We need to build, below the ground shelter. But ancient times, apparently, people have the same idea. You're going to hide underground, but if you stay there forever, don't come out anymore, you're basically buried underground, and that's death. So person going underground basically is this frame, and that's a Chinese definition of death. Now, adding one horizontal line, and I would imagine this horizontal line doesn't exist in real life. It's an indicator, what I call as an indicator. That is the equivalent of today's arrow pointing. Because, okay, we have the framework, we have the low ground, we have the person, and then we have this one extra line, kind of like, look at here. And so here is where it is above ground, right? Because if this bottom left corner is the ground level, then here intersect with somewhere above ground. That means that person is not dead. things are not done yet. That person stand up and taking action. We can almost view that as a negation of what death is about. It's anti-death. I mean, isn't that Brian Johnson's do not die symbol? He should just use this symbol. Chinese use one frame visually expressing what do not die is. And in fact, Chinese go one further up is it's not do not die, anti-death. It's about taking action, actually. It's just don't be motionless or low energy or underground. You stay above ground, and that means you're going to take action. That paired with human next to it simply means humans act. Humans start to take action, and that's human do, I guess. And then we have the war. We have the general at the left side, which is standing on top of this chariot with these runners or errands, people who are sending out a real-time response to the war, to different parts of the battlefield, to coordinate the war. That's the imagery of ancient times of warfare. General standing on the chariot with runners next to it. And then the right side is the common war tool or weapon. Okay, yes, weapon is a tool. That's kind of an axe tied to a staff. And eventually this axe, like this vertical line got rid of, and we only see this big triangle thing. And that's a Chinese abstraction of what this war weapon looks like. And this symbolizes individual foot soldiers, right? And then we have soldiers and general together. Is like two, like you have the brain and you have the body of the war. Two parties carry out the war. We have do war, means you go to war. And what a very different picture of what the war looks like in this, I guess, World War II or one era warfare look. Tank, I guess, was the best technology back then. I mean, even today is drone fighting the war, like drone kind of outdo or undo tank era. But that was like relatively recent history, just 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago. So that's the imagery poster child of today's going to war, how that looks like. And I have the obligation. I mean, I'm trying to translate everything into one English character. And so I just say fight. Definitely not what Trump's fight, fight, fight. What that means. Maybe, I mean, it's a going to war, right? So it can be just fight. All right. Thank you for your time. See you another day.